Hey Bulldogs, let's see what's happening this week on Cold Blue Now. Josh visits the library to explore the banned book theme this month. Chuck talks about an interesting trend that started with one student. And Trey dives into the topic of student athletes still taking gym classes. Now please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. Hey Bulldogs, I'm the cat from Coraline, aka Amy Yip, here with Coraline, aka Madison Burnett, and welcome back to yet another episode of Cold Blue Now, Halloween edition.
Good afternoon, Bulldogs. Welcome to our first holiday-themed episode of the season.
Hopefully it won't be our last, but there'll be more in the future, trust.
You know what else the future is having? College on-the-spot admission days. Colleges such as UMass Dartmouth and Bridgewater State University will be there. The dates for the colleges include
UMass Dartmouth is next Monday, November 6th, and Bridgewater State University on November 13th.
Also, for our class of seniors, be sure to be checking your Google Classroom for announcements from Miss Moriarty.
I heard there's scholarship and financial opportunities in there, so you better be sure to check it out.
This talk about school has got me thinking. I kind of forgot to finish reading a section of Macbeth's for Rutho's class.
Hey Madison, did you know that Macbeth was actually banned at some point in England?
Definitely didn't know about that. But if that was banned, what other books are banned?
You're funny if you think I'm gonna list them all, but let's see what's the deal with banned books in general.
Though it is illegal to ban books in the state of Massachusetts, it is still an issue that many parts of the country face today.
So I am basically responsible for all of the programming and events for kids, tweens, and teens. I noticed that a lot of kids and teens weren't super into reading as much lately. I know it can be hard to read for pleasure, but there are some amazing books out there. Banned books are typically books that are challenged or just flat out banned, and that usually comes from either a private individual, an organization such as a school or a library, or a government organization.
Book banning is one of the largest forms of censorship today, and according to the American Library Association, over 1,500 books were challenged or removed in 2021. This begs the question, why are so many books being banned?
Usually it's perceived to be a threat to society's overall views on something, but it's usually something that challenges, a typical way of thinking. Things are censored a lot of times out of fear.
I guess it's okay for younger students if it's for extreme violence or there are some sexual parts or something in it that you might not want some kindergartner seeing. But if you're going to censor a book for a high schooler or a young adult, it's taking that information away from them and I feel like when people censor books, they're missing the point of the book. I think students can help stop the spread of censorship by finding ways to read those books and explain how they aren't defined by just what they include, but what they're supposed to share and what the author was trying to get across.
We're fully against censorship here in libraries. And that week is really just for focusing on those books and focusing on bringing attention to these books that have been challenged or banned. I think it's really important to read about other people's experiences and read about other people's trials and tribulations. Could be negatives, could be positives, but it can be dangerous to live in your own bubble. Don't be afraid to speak out if there's a book that's being challenged and you're against it. Just read them. Just read books.
No matter your position on banning books, libraries and concerned students alike make an effort to make sure that anyone can read what they want. But that's it from me. Back to you in the studio.
It's always nice to be aware of this rising issue.
Don't forget about your missing research work though, Madison.
Oh yeah, you're right. But you shouldn't forget about these events that'll be taking place within the upcoming weeks.
Picture Retake Day will be next Thursday, November 9th. So if your first photos weren't up to par, hopefully second time's a charm.
I think it's third time's a charm, but same thing, I guess.
Literally the same thing. But anyways, winter sports physicals will be next Thursday, November 9th. It'll be from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. So be sure to fill out the form that can be found in our Holbrook newsletter.
On the topic of sports, the fall banquet is fast approaching. It will be held in 2 weeks on Tuesday, and it will take place at 6. All fall athletes and their families are welcome to attend.
I'm gonna miss fall sports so much, especially being the football team's personal photographer.
Nah, basketball for the win. Speaking of basketball, if you're a boy in grades 6 through 12 and planning on trying out for the team, be sure to register on Family ID and have an up-to-date physical.
There will also be girls basketball signups after school in the cafeteria today. So if you plan on trying out for the team, this is your chance to do so.
Let's drift away from the topic of sports for now.
There's someone on the football team who started a really, interesting trend to say the least.
Pretty popular amongst our Code Blue team, if I do say so myself. Have you heard the name Spencer Shark?
Oh my god, yes, Madison. Cold Blue literally won't stop saying that. But let's just learn more about where and who it even came from.
Lendy Joseph, a student athlete at HMHS, has taken a simple TikTok video and molded it into a running joke around campus. As funny as it is, that brings the question, who is Spencer Shark?
So I found out on TikTok, and after TikTok, I was like, let me show this to my friends. And it just went viral after I showed my friends.
Lendy and Cameron Campbell both feel a real personal connection with Spencer Shark.
Spencer Shark, he's an internet sensation, but he's really impacted my life a lot.
With Spencer Shark's running joke, even more characters began springing up throughout HMHS. This included many other animals that are depicted as humans.
Isaiah Bacon, he's just amazing. The basketball court, he'd be through the legs, crossing everybody up.
Spencer Shark, Isaiah Bacon, Mary Porkins.
Mary Porkins, she's a great teacher. She's nice to everybody, kind, smart. John Pork, he has me speechless. He's amazing.
John Pork, I feel like, is the originator. John Pork was the first one to kind of emerge.
As much as this sounds funny or crazy, Lendy and his friends are constantly trying to live out Spencer's tradition.
Every day, I try to live on his tradition. And every time someone says his name, it brings me joy. And I feel like I'm doing my job by living his tradition on.
This has been Spencer Shark reporting for Cold Blue Now. Back to you in the studio.
Spencer Shark is like a TikTok.
Finally, this trend has been addressed.
Kind of curious to see what new names are going to keep coming up in the future.
Oh my gosh, don't even get me started with all the names.
I don't blame you, Madison, but let's bring it back to the show with yet another announcement.
Let's start off with a quick reminder that we should have brought up at the beginning of the show. But today is going to be the end of Term 1.
With the end of the term also comes parent-teacher conferences. They'll be on November 16th from 5 to 7 p.m. and November 17th from 12 to 2 p.m. If a translator is necessary, be sure to reach out to Mrs. DeRosa.
Reminder to all students, stop getting on JFK buses. Students should not be on the JFK elementary school buses in the morning or afternoon. HMHS students should be only taking HMHS bus.
Interesting announcement, Madison. But anyways, it's time for Cold Blue's newest tradition.
The musical reveal. Hit it, Miss Newman.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another week of What Will the Musical Be? We've only got one more week after this, and then you will know what the musical will be. But today, we're going to take down Mary Poppins. We're going to take down Little Women, School of Rock, Mamma Mia, and Tuck Everlasting. Okay, one more week, and then you'll know.
I'm so sad. Next week is going to be the final week of the musical reveal.
I already have a feeling on what it is, and I can't wait to be right.
What is it?
Well, you'll figure out next week when we have our winner.
You're killing me, Madison.
Gotta be patient, right? But to make the time pass by faster, let's cut to yet another sports update with a new face.
Marco Santini!
Welcome back to the Sports Report. Varsity volleyball had their first playoff game this Wednesday, sadly losing to Georgetown. Girls and boys varsity soccer both had their first round of playoffs. Girls home at 6:15, boys at Hull at 3:45. Last but not least, boys varsity football plays Southeastern away at 6.
Marco nailed it. Could he replace Jordan, Chuck, and Johan, though?
I think all of them are great. No one can really replace the other.
That's a fair point. But Madison, I have a quick question for you.
Yeah, what is it?
You're a basketball player, right?
Yeah, why?
Do you think student athletes should be taking PE even if they're already in a sport?
Yeah, I think I kind of see where you're going with this.
Hey Bulldogs! With fall coming to an end and winter on the rise, sports continues to be on students' minds. However, that begs the question, if an athlete participates in a sport, should they still be mandated to take physical education?
I think that students should be mandated to take physical education in high school. My obvious answer is yes.
According to the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, physical education shall be taught as a required subject in all grades for students in public schools for the purpose of promoting physical well-being of students.
I think that students should be mandated to take phys ed because even if they play sports, they need it to be more active.
There is something called cross-skill training where any skill that you learn in one sport can be transferred over into a different sport. For example, when I was going through high school, I would always go through soccer just to get my footwork ready and to get my cardio ready for when basketball season came.
A popular argument that comes into conversation is that athletes get more than enough of the required time for phys ed set by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
I feel like student athletes shouldn't be mandated to take physical education only because they do get their movement and their fitness stuff from their sports.
But whether student athletes continue to take physical education or not, it is important to form your own opinion and have conversations about it. That's all from me. Back to you in the studio.
In my opinion, I think we shouldn't have to take gym. Just imagine how tired I'll be during gym and then basketball practice.
Well, I mean, it's good training, but I can't really say much.
What I can say is a little reminder before we wrap up the show that next Friday is Veterans Day.
Which means no school Friday and more time for you to catch up on recess.
Don't even remind me. I'm going to have to spend all week on that. Well, that's all for this week. I'm Madison Burnett.
And I'm Amy Yu. We'll see you next time.